Okay, so today we will target first. The thing is like we will close these routes. Okay, everything we will close. Everything we will close. So this is our app.js. Okay, so basically this is a component. What is this? A component. Home page. This is a
Home page component.
huh, page one. This is a
Right.
page one component. Page three. This is a page three component. This is a component. You can mute yourself when you're not speaking. So like all these things are component. So component you are aware about now. Each and everything's like within a React application we call that as mostly everything is built upon component itself. So we can create, there are two type of component. One is class component and second one is functional component. So class component we are not going through. We are directly jumping to functional component. For class component you can go through. Okay. So most of the time, like I am more comfortable with functional component itself. In class component, lifecycle methods are different. We don't use hooks in class component. In functional component, we use hooks. Okay. Now what we will do? So this is our home page. Okay. So what we were doing? Okay, from home page. This is for example. Just assume that we will create one other component. Okay. We will create one button component. Okay. So for component, make sure you have other folder. So in this we will have button.js. This is our component. So we'll just copy this. We'll paste it here. We will remove this. This is our button component. Okay. We will remove this. We will remove everything. This. Okay. We will remove this. Now everything is removed. Fine. Any doubt till now?
No, bro.
No. Okay. This is your button component. So what we will do? So rather than calling these three button, okay, we will call that component here. So button component. So this is our button component. This got called. So now if you will see, so navigate is not defined in button because we are using this function. Okay. So this we will, as of now, what we will do, we will remove this. Just I will cut it, paste it here, and comment it down. Page one is there. Okay. So now if you will go to UI in the home page, only one button component is there. Fine. Page one, you can see page one is there. Button, what we have used button and name what is there. Page one. Okay. So now if you, I will talk about parent child. So let us like leave it likewise. Okay. So this is our component one. Button is also our component. So button is called inside home page component. So home page will be the parent of button. Home page will
Yeah.
be the parent of button. Okay. Any doubt?
No, bro.
No. So now we will talk about props. So props is something we call as data which we can pass from one component to another. Okay. So first of all, over here we have page one. So I will remove this and we will use over here props dot props and I will use props dot view button name. Okay. So what we will do, we will pass this button name from here. So I will pass it. What is the page? Page one. Okay. What I am doing? I am passing props. Which is the props over here? Button name. Okay. This is page one is the value. This is the props button name which is passed to from home page component. We are passing props to button component to child
Akbar,
component.
I'm going inside. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Okay. Chalega. Mute yourself. Got it, Rajesh?
Yes, yes, bro.
So this is props. If you will see over here, if you log the props, okay, we will log it and we'll just log and check what we are getting in props. So this is props and props dot button name. So you will see that same, no change, still getting props dot. If you will pass over here button 2, ठीक है, button 2. So what happened? Now you got button 2.
Yeah.
So in React we talk about reusability. ठीक है? We created one button. Now what we will do? We will create another button, and this will be 1. This will be 2. Same props 1, page 1, page 2. We got the button. Did we write extra code, extra component, anything more? No, na?
No,
And in the props we can see what we got. We got props is an object in which we got button name. Button name is page 2. This we have page 2. This will be, so this is page 1. Page 1, page 1, page 2, page 2. ठीक है?
why bro? So many times it came.
And not so many times, it will come 2 times. 2 times for 1, 2 times for 2. ठीक है? I will save you explain. This is also a type of question why it is coming 2 times. ठीक है? So got it? In props what we get?
No.
Whatever
So
we are
button
pass.
name is random name, right?
Pardon?
Button
Ha,
name you have
this
to
is actual the name which we have kept. If you will pass,
random anything.
ha, this you can, like, it's not be random, it should be meaningful.
Like meaningful
Because
only.
ha,
Any name.
any name. So and what? So now what we will do? We are using props, but like more sophisticated way, more good way. If you will do, we will remove these props. Okay. So you know now destructuring. Now over here, if you do this and you do this, so will this work?
Yes, bro.
Why this will work? Because we are using
Destructure.
destructuring here.
Yeah.
Remember na we studied in JavaScript.
Yes,
So
yes.
rather than directly using props and then you are writing props dot plan what whatever name. So what we can do? We can destructure it. As we know this is going to be an object, so we used curly bracket and within that we destructure that name. So now the same thing will happen. If you refresh this, there will be no log because we have removed the log, but same page 1, page 2.
Yeah.
Got it? So
Got
this is good. This is looking good, na? Like we need to write less code directly destructured here. Okay. Any question?
it. No, bro.
ठीक है? So now is this one was good or this is good?
Yeah, that is good, bro.
Yes. Now why this is good? We don't need to write every time this one. Wherever we want, we just have only one code, one component, and we can call it entire component. We can call it again and again in our application. Okay.
Mm.
Now what we will do, we will create a function also because we need functionality of this. Well, on on button click. ठीक है? On button click, we will have a function, and we did this one. We will do no need to write all these things. Even I think don't need to write this also. We can directly write this. Okay? So this we cannot hard code. Why? Because we are going to create a dynamic function. We don't want to write hard code every time. Okay?
Yes, bro.
Okay? So rather than hard coding, we will over here we will get uh, link to. We will, or whatever you want to write, link to, and that what we will do. We will use it here. So you can use it in any way, like you can add plus and you can use it, or else directly you can use it. Okay, like in we can use it likewise. We will have it. Okay, we'll write
Dollar.
curly bracket and we can write link to, and over here we can use this. Okay, whatever link to is there, we will use this. Okay, so whatever will come, it will go to this. Now what we will pass? We will pass one more props. What props? On button click equal to. Okay, we pass this. Okay, even what we will pass? On button click is not defined. See, we are getting
Const,
error.
const.
Yes, that's why, because we are not like this. And even we will pass one link to. Link to equal to whatever value you want. From here we can link to. Link to page 2. So page 2 is equal to page 2. Okay?
Okay.
Same we will pass one more props to this page 1. So now we don't need, we can remove all these things. Page 3 is also there, so we will copy one thing. Again we will do, this will be page 3, button will be same, over here will be page 3. ठीक है?
Then you need to change this, bro. Link to page one, page two, first and second.
Yes, 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 this will be 1 and this will be 2. ठीक है? Any doubt?
No, bro.
Got it? Everything got it? How good it is looking? We have used component, okay? Now our props is 3. Before it was only one props. We need to destructure everything now. Now just you need to do comma and you will get an option. What you need to write? On click.
On click. On button click.
On button click. On button click and second one is
Link.
linked to. So we got it. So over here we can write callback function. This one we can write. We can insert it here and we can call this. Which function we need to call this? And using link to as a parameter.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
So now everything is settled. Finally done. We have a button component which we can use within entire of the application. Whatever you want to change the name, just change this name. You want to function, on click function, do it. We want link to, link to. Got it?
Got it.
So this is as per our requirement. So only we are passing link to.
Mm.
If you want to like something else, so we can create other on click function like this. We have create normal button. So we can even create link to button. No need to write button name. We can create this as link to button. So that this will be used only for linking. Or else we can write over here if else condition. I will show you that also. Okay. First, let us see this. So what happened? By okay, all the warnings removed. Fine. We got
Mm.
three button. Whatever we know. Link to one home page. Link to two. Taking to two home page. Link to three. Taking to three. Got it?
Got it.
Working same.
Mm.
So what we did? We passed props.
Props.
So these are the props which we can pass to child component. Props from parent to child component we can pass, okay? And props we cannot edit. We cannot change the value of this in child component. In child component what we can do? We can just read this.
Okay.
Use this in another component, another state, and we can update that state, but we cannot change the props. Props cannot be changed. ठीक है?
Okay.
Props cannot be changed. So got it? This is
Yeah.
component. Now we will talk about states. ठीक है?
Mm.
So now this is our state basically. So state is of no use here, but what we will do, we will create a counter, okay? So let me add this. Now we will create. We will use effect hook, okay? To create a state in like a functional component, we use effect hooks. ठीक है?
Use state now, bro.
Sorry, use state. ठीक है? So constant is done. So constant counter. ठीक है? Value, comma, set counter value equal to use state. So just use state from React it has been imported. So over here we need to give the initial value. So initial value will give 0.
Okay.
ठीक है?
For sometimes we are say, passing false. Sometimes we are
हाँ,
passing.
this is your initial value. Whatever you want as per your requirement you can give. My requirement is a counter value. Counter we are going to create. ठीक है? So only. So we will write a break here. ठीक है? You can create two. So we will just use button component only. ठीक है?
Okay.
So over here we will have button. So this is our component. Button we will have. ठीक है? And then we will have the value, counter value, and then again we will have button. ठीक है. So we will have button. ठीक है. So now this is linking button. We are component is same, but we don't want to link anything here. Am I right?
Yeah.
We don't want to link anything here. ठीक है. But what we want to do, we want this function button should be same, but the functionality should change. So what we can add? We can add one thing is link button. We can add a flag. ठीक है. Now I'm using what I used. Huh? What I used.
Is link button you have used, bro.
Huh. But over here, what is the things which concept which I used?
Child to parent.
Huh?
Child to parent.
Child to parent. Child to parent I have not used.
Parent to child only, bro. Same.
Parent
Have
to
used
child I have
before.
used. The concept I'm using. What is this? This thing I have. What I did.
Default parameter.
Yes. So if there is nothing, if link button is not coming in the parameter, then consider it as
False.
false. ठीक है. So I am passing link parameter. So if you will pass just this, so it will act as a true. ठीक है. So on button click, we will not pass on button click. On button click we will pass equal to, we will pass this, what will pass set counter value. This function we will call. ठीक है. Before, for this we have created but for on click, on button click, for this button, what we are going to do, we are going to get the set counter value.
Why, bro, set counter value? She is updating.
So to update the value we will use that. So we will use this. ठीक है. So set counter value will be there, but we cannot set it, okay, until unless we have the current value. For counter to get updated, see counter is there, but if you will either add, this will be minus. ठीक है. So this is done, but this should have some functionality na.
Yes.
This should do something. When you click on add, then it should add the counter. So for that we also need to send the counter value. So over here, this is a common component, so we cannot send value. So we will have a name for that. What we will use? We will use value, because this is going to be common component. So I know I am complicating it, but for this you will have a better understanding how we can use same component for different thing. So value we are going to get here. So now on this condition, what we are going to do, we will use it. ठीक है. This is our function. You can either do this. ठीक है. If else you can use if this is link value is true, then what we need to do, we need to call this function. ठीक है. So what is wrong with there? What is wrong here? Unreachable code. That is fine. I got it. This is unreachable code. Else. Okay. Sorry. So this thing, ठीक है. If this, else return another got it.
Yes, sir.
What we are doing, on the basis of flag we will return the what actually we need to do. So what we need to do, we need to on like if it is not a link flag, then on click what we need to do, whatever like function we have on click button, what we need to do, we need to add the value. ठीक है. But this is plus, so we need to add by 1. ठीक है. But if the value is minus, so we need to subtract by 1. Got it?
Hmm.
So we will have this triple equal to add. So I know I'm complicating it, but let it be, because the concept is different over here. I'm not so I'm showing you how we can use single component for many other things. ठीक है?
Yeah, -1 is end of.
So this will become -1 if it is. ठीक है?
Ah,
चलेगा. So now if you refresh this page, so we got, see, if you add, this is counter. ठीक है? Working. This is, if you go to home page again, page 2, home page, page 3, page 1, page home page. Same button component we are using for different things. Got it?
got it.
So this is reusability in what we say React.js. But what I did is not wrong, because I complicated it so that you understand how we can complicate it more. But if such scenario is there, we need to create different component itself. Naming one as link component, link button, and other will be normal button. Got it?
Okay.
So now over here you got it. This is state.
Hmm.
This is counter value state, which we can, state means state is a part of component. Got it?
Okay, bro.
State is a part of component. State transferred from one component to another using props. What is an state? State, in simple word, the best definition for a state is state contains the information about that individual component. ठीक है?
Okay.
Within this component, home page only, you will be able to use this counter value has the information about home page component. Okay. If you want to pass, this state can be changed within a component anywhere from where you can change the state. How? Using the callback
Sure.
function, anything like set value, like counter value, this function, callback function, you can change the value of this. But how you can pass this state from one component to another?
Through props.
Through props. Props cannot be
Change.
changed. We cannot change the props. Props only can be read. You can read it. If you want to change it in the child component, how you can do it? You can use a state over here. You can create one state in child component. Okay. Sorry. How we can state well, comma, equal to. ठीक है? So how you can do it? If you want to update a props, so you cannot do it. Props cannot be updated, but if you want to do it, so you can do likewise. What we can do, we can initialize the value of props state with props, and then we can use these props rather than using a button name everywhere. What we can do, we can use. So if you can see, we have used state well, okay, but still it will working.
Yeah, if you need to update in the child component, bro.
If you need to update in the child component, what we can do, we cannot update the props. Props cannot be updated in the child component.
With the useState we have given
Ha.
number, so state
So
value.
what we did, we used the value of props into our state, and then we are playing with the state. State can be changed within a component. State can be changed within a component. If you want to pass the state from one component to another, what we going to use? Props. ठीक है?
Yes, bro.
Props you can pass normally, or you can use it likewise, like destructure. You can pass default function if you like. As I in the previous video of JavaScript, we have talked about everything, and now you understood now why I went to JavaScript first.
Yeah.
Now you got this. This become easy for you.
Yes.
Default value, got it. This become easy for you. Why? Because we have already learned in JavaScript what these things are. Okay? So I will remove all these things. So got it. Props cannot be changed in child component. Okay?
But by using state, we can declare the prop and we can update the state also.
Huh.
Prop.
But we are not changing the props. What we are changing? The state itself.
Yes, bro. But set state value we can use and we can update it.
Pardon?
Set state value is there now, bro. Just now we have declared that we can update it.
That is updated, but that becomes a state within a component. That is not props.
Okay.
Props is what we got, and what we did, we can initialize this value into a state and we can change the state, but we cannot directly change the props. Got it?
Got it.
Now React is a unidirectional thing. Means data always flow from parent to child. ठीक है? From parent to child, data will flow, the function everything pass. But there is an interview question every time they will ask how you are going to update. Can we update parent component from child component? Can we update parent component from child component? So the answer is yes, we can do it. But they will ask how we can do it. If React is unidirectional, that what we say, parent to child component, the data flows, then how we can update data from child to parent? So that we can do using callback function. What?
Callback function.
This is a callback function. Huh?
Yeah.
This is a state. Counter value is a state
Mm.
of parent component.
Yes.
Counter value is in parent component. This is the callback function to update counter value. ठीक है?
Yes, bro.
What we did, we passed callback function as a props to child component. Passed it over here on button click.
Yes.
Now what we are doing in button component, we are updating the parent component. So this we are updating na counter value. So
Mm.
when we click on add, what is happening? Counter value is updated, but add is a child component.
Yes, bro.
Got it? Any doubt?
No.
So to update data from child component to parent component, we need callback function. Okay, any of the callback function, and using that callback function, we can update parent component from child component. ठीक है?
Using the callback function,
We can update
child parent.
parent component from child component.
Okay. Update the parent component from child comp. Okay.
Yes. So how parent component will be updated? Once you update any of the state of parent component will automatically update.
Mm.
ठीक है? Any state of parent component change, then it will re-render, means it will update. ठीक है?
Okay.
Done?
Done. Done.
ठीक है. Now what we will see the callback method. Sorry, lifecycle method. Till now clear? What we have seen? A state. What are the state? This is in a state. A state contains the information about a component, individual component. ठीक है?
Okay.
A state can be changed within a component. We can change and update the state within a component. Within this component, we can do it. Okay? From other component also we can do it. So a state can be changed. A state can be passed to another component using props.
Mm.
ठीक है? Using props, we can pass a state to another component, child component or any component. ठीक है?
Okay.
And we cannot update props. Props cannot be
Update.
updated in the child component or any component which are receiving props. Props cannot be updated. You can pass props directly using props keyword, any keyword directly, or else what you can do, you can destructure the props with the name whatever you want and you can use it directly. ठीक है? So this way we can reuse a component. So I don't think I know this is complicated, but we can reuse it. So I was just explaining you how, however, whatever is the complexity of the reusability, you can reuse a component as per as you can handle it using any of the logic you want. Like as we handle it using like a flag is link button flag, so you can use it. Okay.
Okay.
So now we'll learn about life cycle methods. So life cycle is like we have three in functional component. Okay. So first is like component did mount. ठीक है? Component spelling. ठीक है? Component did mount. ठीक है? Component did mount, component unmount. Then update, and one will be render. ठीक है? Render. So render, like we call it render method. Okay, it will be same like as in class component we have render method, so we can achieve that also. So to achieve all this lifecycle method in functional component, I'm not talking about class component. In class component, lifecycle method are written in different way. Okay, so mostly
Okay.
as we learn, we are going through functional component. I don't know, like mostly I'm not aware about that much of class component. I know how to use it, I know how to write it, but like since so long I have not used it. So okay. So in functional component, if you want to achieve any of the lifecycle method, how we can achieve it? Using use effect. Use effect hooks. Using use effect hooks, we can achieve it. Okay. So call it, if
But
you
bro, come again. Like,
want to achieve any of the lifecycle method in functional component, this four, so we can
okay.
do it using use effect hooks. So use effect same as use state from React, you will get these hooks. Okay. So this hooks has a callback function. Okay.
Okay.
And then dependency array. This is the syntax. This is the callback function. This is the dependency array, which is optional. Okay. Now I will show you how it works. If you are not writing anything here, okay, dependency array is not available. Okay. And we'll log it here. Log im render method. Okay. Dependency array is not available in this. Okay. I am render method. Okay. Okay. Now we will see. So this is render method. Render method. Okay. Once you go, render method is called. It is called two times. Ignore this two times. Okay. I will explain you why it is called. Just whenever it is two, count it as one. Okay. Because this is in debugging mode. So render method means whenever this component updates. Component update means what? The state changes. Add. What will do? Add will state change the state. It will add a value of counter value will become 1. So change state will get change of the component. Home page component is getting changed. Add. See, it got called.
Yes.
Again you will do. Again see, whenever you are going to update this component, this render method will be called every time. Okay? If in interview someone gives you write this type of use effect, okay, and ask you like there is no dependency and nothing, so what will happen? So this will called every time. This will be called every time whenever home page re-renders.
Okay.
This will be called every time whenever like component re-renders or renders. Okay? Now we will use dependency array. Empty dependency array. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I am component did mount will be called after component is mounted. Mounted means what? The component is rendered. Okay?
Okay.
So what is the issue here, bro? This is done. This is done. What is the error? Function constitutes an expression. Hmm. Unexpected use. Huh? Unexpected use of comma operator. Where we have used comma? This is comma. This is fine. This. Where we have used comma?
Before dependency.
Ah, that is fine. No, we need to use comma over there. There's something wrong. Mounted console.log we have used. Why to give him like this? Oh, it ran. Okay. So now component did mount means whenever this is mounted, this component gets mounted in the DOM. So that function will be called. See, I am component did mount will be called after component is mounted. Okay. But see, now we'll clear. Now if you are updating it, component did mount is not getting called. Which is getting called? Only render method. So component did mount will be called only once when component is mounted. ठीक है?
Go to page 2, bro.
Pardon?
Page 2. Click on page 2.
Page 2 will फिर हाँ, now see page 2. Now we are going to home page again. It will get mounted. See,
Hmm.
ठीक है? It is getting called 2 times. Ignore it. At the end of this video, I will explain you why it is getting called 2 times at first. Okay, ठीक है? So render method will be called every time when the component renders again. Components get updated or component is rendered, then render method will be called.
Okay.
But component did mount will be called only once when the component is mounted. ठीक है?
Okay.
Now using same functionality, same thing, like I will close this. I will take this down. ठीक है? So element. ठीक है? Now component unmount. ठीक है? But component will see the dependency array also. Over here no dependency array. This is render. Render method has no dependency array.
Okay.
Component did mount. It has empty dependency array.
Hmm.
Component did unmount. Will unmount. Will also have empty dependency array. But the difference over here is, ठीक है? The difference here is, so for unmount we need to write a return function. ठीक है?
Okay.
We need to write a return function. Then only it will be acting as a unmount. And when it will be called? Only once it will be called when component will be unmounted. When component will get unmount, when we will switch the component. We are in home page. ठीक है? Over here ignore it. Now we are not focusing on unmount, okay? Because but it you can see over here unmount is getting called.
Yes,
So
yes.
I will explain you why, because this is a different thing. ठीक है? So now updating render method is getting called. ठीक है?
Yeah.
Now we are changing the component. Got it?
Yeah.
We change the component. What happened? Component did unmount got called. Component did unmount or will unmount is there. I think I am like confusing with the name. So component unmount is getting called. So
Okay.
ठीक है? Now we will do it update. And even one thing we can write likewise also. ठीक है?
Okay. Did mount and unmount will be.
Same. For did mount will not get called when if you'll go to home page. See, leave the first part because this I will. So this is getting called, okay, but when you like go to another page, so only this is got called, but this is the same function. You will say na these two are in the same function, but only unmount will call. So means if you will write dependency array, ठीक है, both for both unmount and mount, dependency array will be empty. For unmounting what we need to write return statement.
Okay.
Inside a return we will have a function and that function will be called, okay.
Yeah. Dependency should be every time.
If you will not write dependency, it will act as render method.
No, no, bro. Dependency like nothing in their dependency.
No
Empty
dependency,
dependency.
render method.
Hmm.
This will be empty dependency. ठीक है?
Okay.
Empty dependency for mount and unmount. For
Okay.
unmount, return will be there. Inside this use effect empty dependency, if you write, if you are going to use uh, unmount, then you need to write return. And inside return method, inside you will have an arrow function, any function, and that will be called. ठीक है? Any doubt till now?
No.
ठीक है? Now, if you will write likewise also, it will also be get called. 1, this will be 2. ठीक है? Unmute yourself. ठीक है? See, 1 is also getting at 12. So any number of time you can write mounting and mounting. Any number of time you can write it. Okay? No need like we can write only one time. Any number of time you can. But mounting will be called only once when component will mount. Unmounting will be called only once when component is unmount. Okay? Now we will move to
Update.
update. So for update, we should have a dependency array. and dependency array should have some value. So means update means what? If some value is updated, if this value is updated, on update of this value do something. Got it?
Hmm.
अपडेट ठीक है. ठीक है. Now we have one value that is counter value. ठीक है. ठीक है.
Yeah.
We have counter value. So you'll see did update. ठीक है. So now if you'll see, at first it is getting called. I am component did update method, it is getting called. But now you will say why did it get called? है ना?
Hmm.
We have not updated the counter value.
Yes, sir.
So but why did it got called? Because counter value got updated. Why? Because initially counter value is undefined.
Yes, sir.
Then we gave it 0.
Hmm.
So counter value got updated. So to use, like to update part, okay. If you want to use component did update properly, then you should always have a condition.
Okay.
ठीक है. How we can prevent it? Like if you want just update, then we don't want na. Like if not equal to undefined. Got it?
So, if counter value not equals to undefined,
Undefined. So still it will go on because it is 0. ठीक है.
hmm,
Or else if you don't want 0 also, so just write
equals to
equal
0
to
now, sir.
0. If it is not equal to 0, then go inside. See. Now if you will see, update is not called.
Okay.
ठीक है. So we need to handle this type of scenario when you are working with update part. ठीक है. Or else for example, see, use effect is not just called for this one, okay, to log anything. So over here I will explain you, but got it now?
Yeah, got it, sir.
So now see, we are going to update add. What is happening? Render is called every time, but
Hmm.
whenever it is getting called, whenever the value of state changes, we are update method is update use effect is getting called.
Yes,
ठीक है.
sir.
Got it?
Yeah.
So understood the life cycle method. Render every time. Component update anytime render will be called. Component did mount only one time. ठीक है.
Hmm.
Dependency array empty. On mount only one time. Inside
But
return dependency array empty. Update every time when the dependency array value gets updated. ठीक है.
okay.
Now this is done. ठीक है. So now see, render method we basically don't use, but this is just for the interview question. If someone asks you if we remove dependency array, so what will happen? So it will act as a render method of class. ठीक है. Mounting is fine, we can remove it because we can have mounting from here itself. Same functionality we can achieve it from here. ठीक है.
Okay.
Mounting is done. Mounting is getting called only one time. Now why we use mounting? So for example, we have component is loaded, okay. Now after component is mounted, what we will do, inside component did mount, we will call the API and fetch the data of the component. Got it? Component is mounted without any data. After mounting, we know that component is mounted. Now we will call the API. We will fetch the data which we required from API for this component, and we will give that data to the component. Got it?
No, bro.
So why do we use component did mount? Basic, I'm explaining you. See, for example, you can make any of the side effect. Basically, we used to show. We used to call that any side effect we can call inside all these hooks or all this like lifecycle method.
Okay.
Component did mount is used. Why? Like component is mounted, okay, all the static data is there, okay, but I want some API data also. Like for example, this is home page, okay. From home page you are showing cards, mobile e-shopping website is there, okay. So all that data you cannot write it here na. What we can do, we can call the API. get the data from backend. So when we can call the API, when we are sure that component is mounted. So after component did mount, we know that if this function will be called only when it will be called, when component will be mounted. Got it? So when
Got
we
it.
know that this component is mounted, so we are totally okay to call the API. After API calling API, we will get the data. We will set the data in component state so that all the data will be visible to the users. ठीक है?
ठीक.
Now return function. Why do you use return function? For cleanup. Got it? You have used any of the state, anything you have used. Now you want to clean that value. So you know that when I don't want, like in this component, when I am leaving this component, I don't want any value. What I will do, I will clean the value. Like for example, got it, like just like for example, we have initial value 0, okay? We have done it likewise. We have added it. Now the value has changed, okay? In cleanup method, what we can write? Let I'm leaving, if I'm leaving this component, again set the value to 0.
Okay.
Just for cleanup purpose, we are using unmount. ठीक है? Or any
Okay.
of this is a function. Any operation you want to perform inside when the component is unmounted, so you can do it over here. ठीक है? Now update. ठीक है? Update, why we use? Whenever a value changes, we can call the API. ठीक है? Or anything. Side effect, any operation you want to do on change of certain value, so we can use it. What we can do? We can do it here. ठीक है? Like for example, we have this add button. For just assume that this add button is not a button. This is an Rajesh card. Okay. In Rajesh card, there we have written mobile number. So whenever we click on that mobile number, what we are doing? We got it. We are calling an API because someone needs Rajesh mobile number. So we will hit the API in useEffect, where in component update. ठीक है? And
Okay.
API will be called and mobile number will be shown there. So anything you want to do, you can do it when the value of this state change. ठीक है?
Okay.
So this is the life cycle method. ठीक है? Any doubt?
No.
Render, component did mount, unmount, and update. Update will be called every time when the dependency or state changes. Render every time. No dependency or nothing. Every time it will be called when the component re-renders. And mount will be called one time, unmount will be called only one time. And any number of time if you will write mount and unmount, it will get every time it will be called. Okay. So now as I said, so if you will refresh the page, you will see this is getting called twice. Which one? Mount is getting called, unmount is getting called, or mount is getting called. Okay?
Mount.
Unmount is getting only once. What is happening? Component is mounted, then it is unmounted, then again it is mounted. So this was an interview question. This was also asked from me, someone, okay, by someone to me, okay. Why this is happening? I am not doing anything. Mount only one time it should come. Why unmount is getting called? Why mount is getting called two times, and why unmount is getting called one times? It should be what? Only mounting should be called one time, Hana? Because only component is getting mount, it should call one time. So I also don't know at that time what was the answer. So actually the answer is, so when we are doing create React number, so we are using strict mode, this one.
Yes, yes, that I know, bro.
So this is used for debugging purpose. This will not work likewise in production mode. So due to this only, it will mount your
Waiting
component
for
once, and it
push.
will, yes, will unmount your component also. So now it is done. See, once you comment it down, we got perfect result. So strict mode is used for debugging. Actually in the local, it works likewise. It will mount your component once, unmount your component once for debugging purpose, then it will. But in production, it not act likewise. Okay, it works properly. ठीक है?
Okay.
Any doubt? Anything? Any questions?
I need to recheck the video, bro, one more time.
So don't need to recheck. See, life cycle method you got.
Yes, bro. I
And
got, but where to use and all those things I need to check it.
so in future we will use that also. You will understand how to use, when to use. Okay.
Yeah, then now you said what you said, I understand, bro.
So there are four which we can achieve using use effect, sorry. So to manage state in functional component, we use state to handle use effect, handle like side effect or any of the lifecycle method, we have use effect hooks. Using that we can achieve it. Dependency array plays a major role, like that you cannot forget. And this lifecycle method, in your sleep also you need to answer this. You cannot forget any of the lifecycle method, at least these four, if you are working with functional component, because without this nothing you can do. To handle like inside use effect, we should always have a condition so that it will work properly, or else you will have something like, if you are calling an API over here, so okay, so at first also it will get called. So to stop all that kind of API calls, so we need to write any of the condition. After that only we need to enter this. Okay. So how we are going to update an state, how parent component is updated from child component, that is done. How data is passed from parent component to child component, that is also done. So if someone will say how we can pass data from child component to parent component, or how we can update a parent component for child component, answer is only one. Using callback function we can pass that to the child component, and from there we can update it. ठीक है?
Hmm.
Any doubt?
No.